Right, well, welcome back to me weekly yarns. My name's Barry. What have we been doing this week? Well, we've had quite a busy week. We've been to the Corbridge show, which you know about. We did take some video. Unfortunately, the wind was horrendous. We managed to get into the stand for the tractor parade, and I think we were outside for the wagon parade, but I've got a little bit of audio there. The rest of it's just music. I will release some. I'm busy editing the video and putting it together. We will release it probably early next week. It is what it is. You know what I mean? That's some amazing machinery there. Some of the full size working steam engines, traction engines. But there's also some beautiful little, like, I think that 8th scale, they're fantastic. There's one in particular. My son mentioned it. He says, looks like a little coffee machine. It looks absolutely brilliant. It's one of them that you think, I've got to have one of them in the future. Literally got to get one of them. But the wind did spoil it a bit. But as I say, I'll put the video up, have a look at it, see what you think of it. It'll not be part, obviously, of the Davy Brown playlist. It'll just be a separate video on its own, but it'll be out early next week for you. What else did we get done then? Well, we got some painting done. I took some video of the bits that are getting done. I'm getting the two big heavy plates done that go underneath the back axle. Can you remember the last time I hadn't finished them off? I couldn't get the wire wheel in to clean all the paint off. So what I'd done is I put some more paint stripper on, and when it was soft I got some acetone on, washed off as much as I could with the acetone, and then with everything being soft with the paint stripper and the acetone, my hands, so I've been fighting with sheep, and with the acetone, we've got a little wire brush in me little drill, me little battery drill, and we've got it in and got it all cleaned off. So they've all been primed up. The quadrant's been primed with the handle. Now, I know you're going to be screaming and shouting at the screen, but I didn't have any grey primer. So I put red oxide on instead. And I know they're going to be cream. So I might just go, and I didn't want to open a big tin of grey just to do the 2-3 little items that I had for the grey. What I'm going to do is they're coated, they will not rust, they'll not corrode. They're going to go back to the farm and storage for a while. When we get round to painting the tin work, they'll come out, they'll get all prepped up, they'll get done in orchid white, which is the real colour for them. We'll probably overspray the red oxide with a bit of grey. I don't want the colour difference between the wheels, the bonnet and the quadrant. It's one of those things that me personally, will continue to notice there's a slight shade in the colour because of the undercoating, and it does matter. So as I say, they got done. I'll give you a quick look. They've got first coat on, they've got second coat on. They're busy hanging up in the garage there now, gassing out. And after this weekend, I don't think I'm working next week, so next week they will go up to they'll get wrapped up, they'll go up to the farm out the way so that they can be safe up there out of my hair, if I had any. Speaking of next week, I'm probably going to strip out that replacement axle that's up there. Now, let us know in the comments here. We've already done one, we've stripped it out, it's going to be exactly the same. Let us know if you want me to film it again, or I might just do it on a time lapse and get it sorted. The plan is to get it completely emptied, get it pressure washed, and then get it away up to Richard Manners up at Battle Bridge in Alnwick. He was the guy who did the shot blasting for us the last time. So I might just get it away up there and get it shot blasted. I'll know better when I get it stripped out and pressure washed and get it on the floor. It depends on how many intricacies that are within the casting, and can I get a wire brush into them and clean it at a sensible rate, or do I just farm it out to Richard and get it blasted and he'll whack a coat of primer on while it's up there in order to stop it surface rusting before I can get up to collect it. But that's, we'll see. Let us know in the comments what you know, if you want us to film it, I'll film it. If not, I'll do it on a time lapse and I'll just put it up on a short video, because the time lapse shortens it dramatically even. Right, let us know. So that's the first coat on. I've got seal carriers. Oh, turn that one around. 2 seal carriers done. Camel's humps. Quadrant. Still flashing off there because I've got a run on there, look. Got a run there. Tell you what I do when I get runs. I quickly, 2 seconds, put the camera in, I'll come back. What I do when I get runs, quickly turn it upside down, like that. So it runs back the other way, and it's amazing how quick the run can disappear. Both the plates, I got these done in here. I soaked them with paint stripper again, then I got in with acetone, took off as much loose as I could, and then got in with a little wire brush and a drill, a little pointy one. That's still flashing off in the gusset in there. Quadrant handle. That's done. Quadrant rail and the little activator off the diff lock. The pedals across at the farm, otherwise I could have had that done and all. But yeah, we'll give that a couple of minutes hanging up that way and then we will see. I'm going to move that quadrant again so that that's actually facing down, and we'll see if we can get that run to disappear. Alright. Right, so that's everything second coated. Camel's humps, seal carriers, quadrant handle, inside and out. I've had them outside in the sunshine. We'll check what they're like. Quadrant. And our 2 plates for underneath the axle. Again, had them out in the sunlight, turned them over end to end, because there's always going to be bits in here and bits over the radiuses that you miss. So anyway, that's it for tonight. I haven't painted the back faces to them carriers because they mate up to the casting on the axle. Painted the flanges, painted the face, painted the flanges, painted the face, painted the inside flanges. As I say, I've got a spare pair of them anyway, so if we end up not using them, at least I've got a coat of paint on them. They're not going to go rusty either, because once that's all dry, I'll get them off and I'll wipe the bare metal with a bit of oil. During the week, had to pop to Belsier and do a delivery to Mr. Chater again, the plumber up there. This is the guy who told me about Shane, who has the little workshop on the other side of the street, who also does Davy Brown's. So I had to pop back up, drop him some more gear off. Took an opportunity to pop across, introduce myself to Shane. I had a good, nice conversation. He's a nice fella. Had a conversation with him, exchanged phone numbers and that. He does do Davy Brown's. He's heavily into them. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep in touch. We had a discussion about valve chests, and as soon as I mentioned valve chests, he just started laughing and shook his head and went, "Nah, bite the bullet, buy a replacement." And he's had trouble, I think, with every valve chest that he's touched in his past. He's had trouble with them, and his solutions eventually were, he says he'd messed on, he had tried to get them working again, and even making the tools to do the setups afterwards, and he ended up having to go and buy replacements. So, from Barclay Williams. So, it was nice to meet you, and as I say, I'm going to give this valve chest a couple of more goes. I'm going to ring Barclay Williams next week when I'm off. And Eddie, one of me subscribers, mentioned the other day how he got his, can you see that there? How he got his out of here. Was it the little tit on the end? He drilled a hole into it, and he put a stud extractor in and got it out using a stud extractor. Now I mentioned to Eddie, I had started thinking about drilling, because that little tit on the end there is 8mm diameter on its biggest diameter, because you can knock an 8mm socket onto it and it just pops over the top. So I had thought of drilling a quarter tapping hole into it, straight down the middle, right through the body, into the valve, right through into the heart of the inset, so it was a through hole, and tapping it out quarter UNF, and then putting in a quarter UNF bolt with a washer on the top so you can put a bit of tension on it. And I was going to put it back in the pressure cooker like that and heat it up, take it out, tighten it up, put it back in, heat it up, and see if we can ease that out. I might even use, not my impact wrench on it, but I might use my little Makita screwdriver that I've got, power screwdriver. I think the Makita impact hammer, pardon me, might be a little bit too aggressive for it. It might actually rip the threads out if it's really tight. But I think the little screw might just be a little bit gentler on it. Again, I might just put a little spanner on, and because when you've got the spanners on, you can feel, can't you, what's happening with the impact gear and like the impact screwdriver. You cannot really feel what's happening inside. So I might just do it with spanners or a little socket, we'll see. But I'm going to talk to Barclay Williams first to see if there are replacements, because the next option, if that doesn't get it out, is to put a big drill through the middle, take the whole of the back out so that it allows it to collapse in, and then we can stick something like one of those concrete extraction bolts through it again and pull it out with one of the concrete bolts. We'll see what happens, but I need to speak to Barclay Williams before we start destroying things. Eddie did say, I think it was about 500 quid for a valve chest off Barclay Williams, a reconditioned one. But again, you see, I need to speak to Barclay Williams to see, is it reconditioned service exchange? Do you need all my bits? Do I give you all my bits and you give me back a fully working valve, or do you recondition my valve? It's a conversation we need to have with them, isn't it? We need to find out the facts before we keep smacking things with hammers. The ongoing saga of Betty the Blackbird. Well, she's there again. She's got 4 little chicks this time. 4, and not so little now. I mean, they hatched last weekend, Friday morning, late Friday afternoon, I think they were hatching. I've got I sneaked a picture. She was away getting a load of worms, her and the hubby. So I've sneaked in getting a little picture of the chicks sitting in the nest on a hot day, and it was I think it was maybe, I says to the wife, I says, we need to put an umbrella up or something to give them a bit of shade. But she's doing all right. She's flitting back and forward all day long there, her and the hubby, feeding them like mad, and they're growing unbelievably. I've got my food out again for them so that Mummy and Daddy can get a bit of a feed whilst the little ones are quiet. But I'm painting the quadrant and the plates. So I put my compressor out in the backyard, in the back garden. And I put the compressor as far away as I could possibly get it, round the corner of my greenhouse. And I had the compressor, the power cable, and the orange air hose lying there. And Betty came back in through the fence, saw the compressor, jumped on the floor, walked around the compressor, stood in front of it, and me and Deb were sitting in the chairs in the garden. So she's sitting in front of the compressor, and she's looking at me like this. And she looked at Deb, and she turned around and she looked up at the compressor, and she looked back at her, and she looked at the air hose, and then she looked across at me workbench that was sitting out there, as much as say, you've got this place a right tip and you can get it cleaned up. So as quick as I got finished painting, had to get it all cleaned up and sorted out. She wasn't happy, but she's back to her usual self there now. I'll pop a little picture up here with the little ones in the nest. But I don't like intruding too much because I don't want her to feel like threatened or intimidated at all. You know what I mean? She's quite happy flitting about. As I say, we'll be sitting on our chairs out there in the garden, and she'll come and land on the headrests behind you, or she'll land on the table beside you. And he's good at this. He'll walk around underneath the chair and he'll jump up on the table beside you and he'll walk past you and then jump into the nest with a beak full of worms for the little ones. But it's took him a while to get to that stage, but he's getting to the point where I think he's beginning to know when they're going to hurt him, to trust with. He is still feeding what was left of the first chick. She was still kicking about the other day. As I say, you saw last week, you saw the video of her. She was back again a couple of days later. She keeps coming back. She knows where the food is. She comes in, has herself a bite to eat. Daddy keeps showing her how to do a bit of hunting for worms and that. But no, it's amazing. I love watching them. I could sit for hours watching them, watching her flying back and forward with her little antics that she's got. And when she comes out the box, she just drops out the box, and then if you're sitting out there, she will literally fly past your nose end inches away from you. Just scoot straight through, up on the top of the fence. She'll stand and have a look around, make sure that none of the other birds or predators have seen her. And she's looking for predators. And then she's away hunting for worms. And then she comes back and does the same. Lands on the fence or up on the aerial. Lands on Hazel's aerial next door. And she'll have a bit, like, sing on, a little bit, nice little song that she puts out. And then she's down on the table in the nest feeding the little ones. So, well, hopefully she gets them 4 out and we'll get them all up and away. Right, well, that's it for this week then. At the minute, doesn't look like there's any work next week. So we might get quite a few jobs done next week if the weather stops right. As I say, we're gonna crack on and strip the sacks now. It's got to get stripped out anyway, whether you want us to film it or not. So you let us know in the comments, okay? Hide in the comments, let us know what you want. We'll get that done, we'll get it sorted out, and we'll either get it cleaned or we'll get it away to be cleaned. But something will happen next week with that. And as I say, we'll get bits and pieces away at the farm. We'll get caught up on more jobs. I will get to speak to Barclay Williams next week, and we'll find out what's happening with the valve chest. We'll find out what parts we can get a hold of, what parts we can get. And that'll lead us in to do what we need to do. Again, it might be Barclay Williams just say, just leave it, give it to us, we'll sort it out for you. Depends on the price, doesn't it? Because it's 500 quid's a lot of money in it. To buy a lot, we buy a back tyre with 500 quid. Right, well, that's it for this week. That's what all dealt and done. We've caught up with what we've done. We're going to get some stuff away to the farms, I say, out the way. Don't forget now, if you like it, give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. It does help the channel out tremendously. We do appreciate all of our subscribers. It's very kind of you to put your time in to sit and watch with. Leave us some comments. Yeah, we're happy to answer all of your comments. People that, you can ask questions. You can put in comments about the videos, the audio, whatever. Just leave us a comment. We will get back to you. And hopefully throughout the week, we'll get some videos out either of Corbridge Show. That will come. Whether or not you like it, we'll see. But as I say, it's video with a bit of music on it because the wind. What I'll do is I'll leave a little segment of the wind noise there, and you'll hear how windy it was. It sort of spoiled the day for quite a few people. But it stopped dry. And that was the main thing, wasn't it? It stopped dry. So, dry and sunny, we can't complain, really. So, thank you very much. We'll see you next time. And remember, don't overthink it. It's only nuts and bolts. See you now.